This is Kyle Schoenheit. I am recording to document my week 3-4 coding assignment. So number 1, create an array of int called ages that contains the following values. Here I've done that. Part A, subtract the value of the first from the last without assigning the element 7 that is in the last of the array. So system print out ages.length minus 1, which is how you pull the last one without marking the last one, minus ages bracket 0, because the first element in any array is equivalent to 0, not 1. B, add a new age to the array and repeat the step above. So I added ages 2 equals, and then the entire array, but I added 46. Sys out ages2.length minus 1 minus ages2 bracket 0. And again, it is the same thing. It's just I'm using it to call the array of ages 2 versus the ages array up top. Use a loop to iterate through the array and calculate the average age. Print the result to the console. I'm going to pull from ages 2, but we're going to go int total, name of the total, equals 0. Now we're going to use a for loop, int I equals 0. As long as I is less than ages 2 length, this array, I will concatenate. Our total will equal ages 2 concatenated, the bracketed I. Sys out print total divided by ages 2 length. Here's the total. The total equals ages 2 concatenated to I. This is the formula to make that so. And then up here is the array ages 2 that it is being divided by. Number 2, create an array of string called names that contains the following values: Sam, Tommy, Tim, Sally, Buck, Bob. String names. Then you have the names: Sam, Tommy, Tim, Sally, Buck, Bob. A, use the loop to iterate through the array and calculate the average number of letters per name and print that out to console. So int total 1, so that'll be our total of names. 4, int counter is the name I'm giving it, equals 0. Counter is less than names.length. So long as it is, it will concatenate counter. Our total will equal names bracketed counter.length. Sys out print total 1 divided by names length. Total 1. How are we getting total 1? Names bracketed counter dot length. It will continue to concatenate till total 1, which is firstly 0, or counter, will concatenate until it equals, the total, and then average the numbers, or average the letters per name. Part B, use a loop to iterate through the array again and concatenate all the names together, separated by spaces. So this time we're printing out the names, essentially. So string, people is the name I gave it, empty quotes, for, int I equals 0, so a for loop again, int I equals 0, I less than names length, I will concatenate. And again, same formulaic process, people equals names bracketed I plus space. So sys out print people. We're printing people. People equals names with a concatenated I plus a space. It will continue to run until the entire array has been concatenated, and then it equals names length, the entire array. 3, how do you access the last element? As displayed previously, the last element is array name.length minus 1. Any array, it can be named. So up here at number 1, it says create an array. The array I created was ages, and so to pull the last element of the array, it is ages.length minus 1. Down here, array name, ages.length minus 1. How do you pull the first? You simply type 0 from the index. 0 is the first, the absolute first in any array, no matter the value. In an array, they do not start with your first element, second element, third element. It starts with your 0 is your first element. 5, create a new array int called name lengths. Write a loop to iterate over the previously created names array and add a length of each name to the names length array. So int our array name lengths equals new int bracketed names.length. So for, and again a for loop, int I equals 0. I is less than names.length. I will concatenate. So names lengths bracketed I equals names bracketed dot length. Write a loop to iterate over the name lengths array and calculate the sum of all the elements in the array. So int, now we're on total 2. Total 2 equals 0. Another for loop. Int numbers is connected to name lengths, or it's synonymous. Apologies for the language, it escapes me. But numbers correlates to name lengths. So total 2 equals to numbers, plus equals to numbers. Sys out print total 2. All right. Number 7, write a method that takes a string, word, and int n as arguments and returns the word concatenated to itself n number of times. So now we're in the methods. So my string is called Beetlejuice. The method is called multiply string. And it is multiply string, quote, or paren quote, Beetlejuice 3, sys out, print Beetlejuice. If we go down to the array, or the method that is connected to it, it is a public static string, multiply string, that is the method that was linked up top, string word, word is equal to Beetlejuice, n, int is equal to the 3. So string basket is an empty quotations. We need to fill the basket. And so we do for int k equals 0. I chose k because that's my first letter in my name. K is less than n. So long as k is less than n, k will concatenate. So the basket will equal word. Return basket. Once the basket's full, once the basket equals word, then the basket will go back. Now, apologies. Now number 8. Write a method that takes 2 strings, first name, last name, returns the full name. I chose legal name, creates a string separated by space. So string first name, string last name, string legal name. Legal name is first name comma last name. Sys out, print legal name. In the method, public static string, my legal name, string x correlates to first name, y correlates to last name. The formula is return x plus space plus y. So number 9, write a method that takes an array of int and returns true if the sum of all ints in the array are greater than 100. I created the array. I made it so it would return true 20, 30, 40, 50. So int array called numbers. Here's the array, the values of the array, the elements. Sys out, print in, array sum of numbers, paren numbers. We go down here to number 9, public static Boolean, because we're returning a true or false value, array of numbers, int bracket numbers. So that is the method that's being called. Same as up here. I mean, not the same as, it is linked. So int. So the first one, sum, is connected to the numbers. Apologies, no, it's not. I need to put my glasses on. Ooh, there we go. Oh, I can see. So 9, method, public static Boolean, array of numbers. Array of numbers is connected to up here, array of numbers, right? And so the ask is, write the method that takes an array and returns true if the sum of all of them is greater than 100. So the total, apologies. So int sum equals 0. So for loop, int number, it correlates to numbers. Sum equals number. If the sum is greater than 100, return true, else return false. And so it's saying sum equals number. And so number is synonymous with numbers. Oops, yeah, numbers, right? So numbers is synonymous with, up here, numbers, this one. So it pulls it all the way down and runs it through the for loop. And I assigned it the name sum because it asked if the sum was greater than. And so it returns true. However, once we go through this, I will change the values to show that they all work. Number 10. Ooh, that's the wrong button. Write a method that takes an array of double and returns the average of all the elements in the array. So here it is. Public static double. Calculated average is the name I gave the method. As you can see, it highlighted up here. Double bracket array. So it's calling that array up top. Double total equals 0. So for loop. Double number is synonymous with array or correlates to array. Total is going to equal number. Return the total divided by the array length. So total here, total equals number. Number is synonymous or correlates to array. Right now it has a 0, but here's the array. That array goes up here. I did name it array, which can be kind of confusing, but it just because of the language it says take an array of double, I named the array, the double array, just array. 16, 21, 30, 50, 65. Okay. Now, number 11, write a method that takes 2 arrays of the double and returns true if the average of the elements in the first array is greater than the average of the second array. So here we are. I named it array part 2, double bracket array part 2, and then I copy pasted these numbers and just increased the digit by 1. So 16, 17, 21, 22, so on and so forth. But sys out, calculated average part 2, array, comma, array part 2. Now the method down here is public static Boolean calculated average part 2, calling on the first double array and the second double array part 2. So double sum equals 0. So double numbers correlates to the first array. So the sum will equal the numbers divided by that array length. Double total, which I'm using to call the array part 2. So the total will equal the numbers divided by array part 2. So if the sum is greater than the total, so if the first array is greater than the second array, which is assigned total, it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. You can tell just by this that there's no way that this one is bigger than that one. So we run that. And again, it kicks everything back out. But if I were to, say, change that to 6 and hit go, now it's true. It is more than the last. Now, if I just put that 6 back and we'll run it again, false. Number 12, write a method called will by drink that takes a Boolean is hot outside and double money in pocket returns true if it is hot outside and if money in pocket is greater than 1050. So here's 12. Public static Boolean will by drink, Boolean temp. Temp it correlates to, sorry, lost my place, is hot outside. Double money correlates to money in pocket. So if temp is true and, not and or, just and, that honest and, money is greater than 1050, return true, otherwise return false. I assign the value of 11 and I assign this to true. So it returns true. If I just put 10, it is now false. Now let's go back to 11 because if it's hot out, we need a drink. Now it is true. 13, create a method of your own that solves a problem. In the comments, write the method. So as you can see, I wrote a method all about cake, mostly because I like cake and also because I like the game Portal. And it is a joke in the game of Portal. So I created a string, but I call them Booleans. But because I want to print out a string, I'm calling the method is a string, not a Boolean. So the cake is a lie is the method. That's just the name of it, but I could give it any name. Then the Boolean first, there's cake, is false. The second Boolean, I was told there was cake, is true. So public static string, the cake is a lie. Boolean cake correlates to there is cake. Word correlates to I was told there was cake. If cake is a true value and, not and or, word is a true value, return the cake is real. Otherwise, return the cake is a lie. So there is cake. That was set to false. This is set to true. So it returns the cake is a lie. However, we run this. There is cake. The cake is real. But there we go. The cake is a lie. Yes, you can use Booleans and other things, but in a method. However, the method itself has to be a string if you want to return coded text, because I could just have it out here saying sys out, is there cake? And then I could call on these Booleans that could say true or false. But if you wanted to send out actual text, the cake is real or the cake is a lie, you need the string method, not Boolean method.